Joe.
I don't
Oh
know.
my god, I don't know where to put this stupid can.
I was born on the full moon, though.
You were. Oh wait, my turn now.
Welcome to Cannabis Corner, where all of your questions are answered. Mondays have one day here for you. Joe the weed guy and Father. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. So let's start the show.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to your Facebook page and look us up, or hit see first to see and hear all the great programs we have here on WNHHLP. And just a reminder, Cannabis Corner is also streaming live on the Greenhaven Media Facebook and YouTube page and procannabismedia.com. So make sure you check us out, like, share, subscribe. Let's get things going here. All right. It is Monday, August the 5th, 2024. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. I am your host, Joe the Weed Guy, and I am joined here by, of course, my illustrious and always out and about friend and co-host, Uncle Lou. Farmer Lou, how are you today?
Oh man, Joe, I'm doing amazing. Just another beautiful day in the neighborhood, I guess. We just try to be as positive as possible these days and try to spread as much love and joy as this great plant gives us. You know what I mean, brother?
That's it, man. That's what it's all about. Spreading the love, spreading the joy, spreading the plant, spreading the healing.
That's it, man. That's it.
As long as we make sure our contribution to the world is positive, then that's all we have to worry about, because we're doing what we can.
We will continue to do that, brother.
Yes, sir. So how was your weekend, sir? What did you do?
It was a great weekend so far, actually. I actually a lot of downtime. Spent time with my kids, which is always a pleasurable thing, you know. My stomach was acting up, so I didn't really do too much, but we spent time with the kids. We try to continue to spread positivity. I did some landscaping, took care of my plants, you know, those type of things. I set up a little tent, you know, just to start the next part, because as we know, you know, this is going to be that
time
first
to get
week
rolling.
of flowering.
That's right. That's right.
It's our first week of flowering outdoors. So if you have any plants that you want to keep in veg, a mother, or anything like that, it's time to start bringing them into a tent. So that's where we're at right now. So if you're going to start your little veg tent while you're outside does flowering, this is a good time to do that.
Get your next harvest ready. That's right. So yeah, well, I had quite an eventful weekend. I don't know about you, Lou. You don't live far from me. Did you get hit by that storm on Saturday?
I definitely did, good sir.
All right.
Definitely
where I
did.
live got touched down by the tornado.
Oh, that's right. I had my plants were all knocked over, but you know, the rain helps, and that little wind definitely helped strengthen those plants too. But yeah, you had the tornado. Did you lose power? Did you?
I lost power.
You know,
just got it back this morning. I was afraid I was going to have to do the show from my phone. Thank God the power came back. It
there you
looked
go.
like Armageddon out there, Lou. I happened to be driving during the storm.
Baby.
As I'm getting home, I could not get to my house because the streets were blocked with trees.
You're talking Saturday's
yes,
storm,
Saturday's
right?
giant storm that hit in the afternoon, like 5 o'clock.
Middle of the day. Yeah, you know what?
Out of the blue.
I was actually playing Dungeons and Dragons with a bunch of my lodge brothers. And you know, because it's the world of fantasy doesn't leave us even as we get older, but you know, one might think that I'm cooler than
what you
may think, but you know, I still like my Dungeons and Dragons and my friends and
things too. You know that.
You know, so I was that happened right in the middle. I have a little Puffco proxy. One of my other guys has a Peak. Another guy just got his own proxy, bought the at Rise, actually. He bought it at Rise. It was on sale. and he
Oh,
got the
nice.
Gandalf attachment. So he went down to Rise, because a lot of these guys aren't necessarily in the streets. They're not necessarily using the black market. They do like to support the legal market.
They like
Once
to
again,
pay
this is a
taxes.
different generation. Yep, this is a different generation, and these are individuals who are like, listen, if I get in trouble, I can lose my 6-7 figure job. There's a lot of
I understand that.
that's
That's where they get
you
their
know
business from. It's hey, look,
yeah,
if it weren't for people like that, they probably have no business.
exactly. So that's
Because
why
it
when
ain't
I
because
tell
of the
people they're
quality.
and that quality works for some people, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
individuals like you and I, and we've always been in the legacy market, and these are individuals who haven't started using cannabis till it was completely legal, and they started to move over, and they can pick and choose that mid to lower level quality bud, and that's still strong for some of those people, Joe. Not
Yeah.
everybody is the OG,
Oh
triple
yeah.
OG,
People
95%
do.
THC,
I got my sister. She will not eat nothing more than a 10 milligram gummy. I'm like, come on,
right.
come on. I mean,
And
I eat a
some
100
people,
milligram gummy.
right, and
It's
so some people
nothing.
do enjoy, and this is why on this show we don't take sides on that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
We
I think as long as you're using it, you're my friend.
Right. We want the dispensaries to support us as well. And, as the market changes and hopefully as the market opens up and we get some more local individuals, some more cultivators, we
Like
won't shun
you.
them for operating, anybody, we won't shun them for operating. We won't shun them for deciding to go legal. Like
No.
people know that I went legal for one reason. I can't go back to jail. I missed too much of my kid's life. I'm not going to put
Yeah.
myself in a place where I'm gonna go behind bars again. And you know what I mean? Granted, other people have spent way more time, but if you lose a day, it's already too much. Like, if you lose a day for cannabis use, it's already too much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. And I have been spreading that word out to some local people that there is pathways to the legal market. Even if you're an ancillary business, even if you're a small producer who makes your own little products through
oh yeah,
licensing, there is, and I'm preaching that. I want people to go legal if they can, if they have the
and there's a
resources
way.
and they have the products to
And
do
I
it.
give this, we give us as a team have always given this free knowledge. If you create a product and you have a brand, you can always license yourself and sell that brand to another manufacturer that's legal in this state or any other state.
That's right.
Ideally, when we're up and running, we're going to license some people who have put their stuff together and legally. Not that the product itself is legal, but the brand is a legal brand, and they're
Right. With
able
an
to do
LLC.
paperwork and an
Right there.
LLC.
That's
We
right.
would produce those things and then help get in other states.
That's right.
And
So that's
that's the
how we help
pathway.
each other. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
thing. And and I know you're specifically looking for people coming up out of the market,
and that's well, you create the brand, you get it legal here or in another state because maybe you like the main market better. So why
Maybe
not partner with
there's,
somebody in the main market
yeah, it
that
all
makes
depends on your
products,
goals. Yeah.
and then from that main market you can piggyback into the Massachusetts market usually or the Rhode Island market. And this
New
is just
York.
working with producers. Then everybody talks about like dispensaries and cultivation and everything, and New York is its own beast because there is zero indoor flower in New York State. Like you really want to talk about, and they have 150 dispensaries. You really want to
It's
talk
all
about
outdoor.
quality of weed? It is all outdoor weed. Like there
Wow.
is no indoor producers, and the the
Wow.
the dispensaries are very up and running. They are doing a ton of money. You know, you really want to talk about quality of product? There is zero indoor weed in the New York market.
Wow.
You know what
But
I
if you like
mean?
sun grown, there you go. But it's got to be sun grown correctly.
There's it's
That's the caveat right there.
and we start looking at where there was an article going around about pre-rolls, and that was in another
Oh,
state
I
in
saw that.
Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was in Oklahoma, I believe. I
Well, you
apologize. That
think
was in
that's not
Oklahoma.
happening here? Come on.
Well, we'll take it one step further. Oklahoma is all small producers.
Yeah.
You know, so forget these MSOs. Those are all small producers.
Yeah.
You know, that don't
So
have the
imagine
extra money.
what
You
the
know, they don't-
MSOs are doing.
They're the same quality. I'm not saying that they're not, but you get small producers in states with lower restrictions, and they're not putting things like airflow controls, or
No.
they're not putting things, and then the testing is a little bit more lenient. And God forbid you ever test any of the stuff coming from California. You think your imported cannabis is exempt to these things. I don't. You
Yeah.
must be truly mistaken. You know what I mean? And then take it one step further. You think the outdoor weed you're growing right now is not going to be any better? I bless your heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I want to bring Kristen on because she has been waiting patiently. Kristen is
We have
at
been
the Big Green Goddess golf tournament, and she has taken the time out to come hang with us.
Definitely.
So, Kristen,
Hello.
classic Kristen, how are you doing at the golf tournament? Do you have your club in your hand?
I do not have my club in my hand. I am sharing because I do not have golf clubs. But no, this is a really great event. It's a very foo-foo golf course. It's the Renaissance Golf Course in Haverhill. And I mean, from the second you pull in, like they've got, posters and signs, a bunch of vendors are here. Really did a great job pulling this all together. It's primarily a charity event to support the Young Women's Center of America of Northeast Massachusetts. So they did a live auction to raise money for certain causes, ranging from like domestic violence to helping unhoused girls. So it was really cool. They raised a ton of money. And then they're doing some breakout sessions where they have LPGA golf instructors here. So they're going to like set us up in levels. I am beyond beginner. So my lesson is probably going to be, this is how you hold it. But no,
You're going to take a golf lesson after the show.
I sure am. Immerse yourself in the experience.
Make sure you get fully prepared.
I was gonna say they're handing out free rolls, and there's infused drinks here, so we'll be nice and toasty as we learn to golf.
Good. That's the only way to do it. You're on the green. You got to have the green. So,
for sure. the whole thing.
So what else we got going on in the state of Connecticut this week? I have a few things, but let's hear what you got.
Yeah, you're probably going to have a little bit more of a list than I am. I definitely wanted to, again, just highlight that the CCSBA, the Connecticut Cannabis Small Business Alliance, is having an in-person networking meeting. So that's this Thursday, August 8th. It's at Advanced Telemedicine in Orange. So they were lovely to host us and supply some refreshments and drinks. But it'll be a great opportunity. The meeting itself is from 6 to 8. The doors open at 5. All are welcome. You do not need to be an existing member of the CCSBA. It's really to introduce people to what we're doing, have our regular monthly community meeting, and just have a chance for everyone to get together and network and talk and share ideas. So that's this Thursday.
And I will be there. I'm sure you will be there as well. So
Certainly.
If you want to come out and hang out with us and see what the CCSBA is all about, please feel free to do that. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of things to do and things to talk about. A lot of exciting things. All right.
Yeah, definitely. I also have the Connecticut Can Affair. That's Sunday the 18th at Illicit Brewery. It's from 12 to 4. They're going to have vendors, music, food, raffle. There's a consumption tent. It's open to the public. So folks can, check out Connecticut. And I also believe Illicit Brewery also has the event on their website. So you can check that out. But that would be a really great chance to go in and see, apparel vendors, folks that make rolling trays, like that type of like arts and crafts type vendors.
I believe I would like to attend that. I think I'll be there too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to miss that one, but it's for a great reason. I became a justice of the peace because I wanted to be able to officiate weddings, and so I'm gonna be doing the government part to get people married that day. So I'm gonna miss it, but I'm doing something kind of cool.
Oh, very cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Yes,
that's
it's
a glass blower I met like years ago. So I always said it's not necessarily like open wedding per se, but it's someone I met like through the industry. So very cool stuff. I like it.
So there you go. Now, if you ever want to see, this is a little plug. If you ever want to get married, you want to have Christian be your official, there you go. Get in touch with her.
I can do that.
I don't recommend getting married, but anyway.
I plead the fifth. Uh, and then what else do I have? Oh, and then on Friday, August 23rd, it's an event over at Wholeness House. It's microdosing and Kundalini yoga, and it's facilitated by Aaron Doolittle. And all of the proceeds are going to go to Connecticut for Accessible Psychedelic Medicine. So you can check that out. Look up Aaron Doolittle or go to the Wholeness House site, and you can get information on that.
Very cool. All right.
And
Yes.
plug number one for that one, at least. If you do choose to look up Erin, she just put out a book. It's a
Yes.
cost-effective book.
Oh,
It's like
yes,
$13,
yes.
$14. So, and it's definitely a way to help continue her practice and help support her as an individual. And it's a book full of great information on plant therapies and mushrooms. So definitely check that out.
Yes, I was up there this weekend for the event on Sunday with He-Man. Very interesting event. Learned a lot. We had the Cannabis Corner crew, the Greenhaven Media crew up there tape filming. So you'll see the video come out soon on that. And yeah, please support Erin. She does great work up there. She had the book up there. And it's always, it's a really nice place just to go. All right, so what do I got? I got a couple of events on August 11th. That is this Sunday. There is a Puffs Paint and Sip, and that is going on this Sunday, and you can find out about that from It's Just Common Sense. Our good friend Mike Johnson, he will be involved in that. So you can find out about that on August 11th, Sunday at 5 o'clock, Paint and Puff. And then we also have this Wednesday, there's a rally for Connecticut medical cannabis patients up at the DCP, and that is at 8 a.m. Let's see. Also, I visited Cumorah this weekend as well. We recorded an interview. I was hoping to do a tour of her place, but it rained. It started to rain. So we did a little interview under the gazebo, and Cumorah has a lifted labyrinth this Saturday night at in the evening, and that is over at Cumorah's Cultural Community. I went over there and visited her on Sunday after the event at the Wholeness House. She got a nice space over there, and she could use some help and some support. Cumorah does great work over there, and she doesn't get enough shine, I feel. So if you have the time to support Cumorah's Cultural Community, she is doing an event this Saturday evening, the 10th. And the last one is, of course, the Burn and Learn big event at the Holy Ghost Park, CT Stock, celebrating the anniversary of Woodstock. This is an evening event, so it starts at 4:20 and it'll go throughout the night. Got some great bands there, a lot of great things going on over there. And Cannabis Corner and Greenhaven Media will be there. We're working on a new series with the Burn and Learn and with Cumorah. I'm going to be filming short interviews with people about the power of the plant and how the plant has changed their lives. So that'll be some new content that we will have coming out. So a lot of good things going on. Anyway, I think I've talked enough. We have our guest is here right now, Jennifer Fell from the Connecticut Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. And Jennifer is the Director of Business Development and Government Affairs for the Connecticut Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. Since joining the chamber in 2022, she has been instrumental in overseeing its operations and serving as the organization's lobbyist. Jennifer has a BS in nutrition from the University of Missouri and spent 15 plus of her professional career working in the healthcare leadership. Jennifer brings a deep understanding of the challenges associated with working in highly regulated industries. Well, that is the cannabis industry. Jennifer has lived in Connecticut for over a decade. Her passion for the cannabis industry is driven by her experience as a foster parent here, which has inspired her commitment to improving communities that were disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs and their access to opportunities. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. It's a pleasure having you. It's been a long time coming. We've wanted to have you on for a while. How are you today on this beautiful day?
I am great, Joe. I'm super happy to be here. Although somebody needs to check and see if Mercury's in retrograde because none of my technology worked today.
Well, you're here.
But I made it. I was actually locked out of my email, so Lou sent me the link so I could be here, but I'm glad I'm here.
No,
So,
we're glad you're here too. Because of course, obviously being in this highly regulated cannabis industry, I think it's important for the businesses, whatever size they be, have a certain representation and a certain way that they can join together and agree on legislative policy and just the way they want to see things go in the industry. And I appreciate you guys putting the cannabis chamber together. How did it come about?
so that's a good question. So it came out. So Adam Wood, who's our president, he started in. He had worked to help legalize cannabis in both New York and in Connecticut. And so, just through some of his networking, somebody actually had said to him, "So when do you guys have a cannabis chamber of commerce?" And so that kind of got him thinking, like, "Hey, this is going to be super complex. People are going to need support and help navigating, yes, at the Capitol, but also like local policies, like working through zoning, different things like that." So he decided to start this chamber. He contacted his friend Dan Glissman, who is a attorney that's been working in the cannabis space for a long time, knows the ins and outs. He is incredible in his understanding of what's going on within the law and that kind of thing. And then also Deborah Cavanis, who runs the greater Bridgeport OIC, as well as the Southern Connecticut Black Chamber of Commerce. And she knows minority businesses, she knows small business startups, ins and outs. And they really are sort of the dream team to support a brand new industry. So they got things started. I joined them in helping with communications, and my roles just developed over time. And it's been fantastic because the cannabis people are just the most. They're kind, they're creative, they're inspired, they're a lot of fun. It's an awesome industry. So
Yeah, well, it's the cannabis,
right. No, I mean, there's something to be said about that, but yeah.
So you've been around since how long? For about 4 years now, right?
I think three.
And
So
you've got an event coming up on September the 12th, right? And this is a
I
very
have,
interesting
yes.
event. Yeah, and it's going to actually be held at the Bridgeport Amphitheater, which is a really nice venue. If you haven't been there, I'm sure many of our listeners have been there for a concert. So they are going to be hosting with you the second annual, right?
The
The
third. I
third,
cannot believe this is
okay.
my third. Yes, yeah. So the third annual Together We Grow. So this is our big, we do a lot of events throughout the year, and usually they're for a specific reason. Um, Whether it's just networking or it's just around some DCP language or something like that. So this is our big event at the end of the year. So it's a conference, it's a business expo, and then we do our annual awards where we celebrate some of the people that have made significant change in the industry this year. So we are pumped because we had been doing it in Hartford and we'd been doing it in December. And my joke was always I was sick of people going to MJ BizCon and coming back with COVID and then having to miss my event. So this year actually it's the same time that MJ BizCon is, like that MJ BizCon is that first week in December. So we said let's look at September. Let's go to a different DIA. And let's make ourselves accessible, to as many people as can participate. So we chose the amphitheater. We're so excited. We we will have lots and lots of vendors. I just talked to some new people today that want to get their name out within the industry. One of the things that's going to be different about this event too is I created a very affordable booth costs for community partners, because I want people to know that cannabis is not just like, dispensaries and selling and numbers, but it's also about the give back they're doing. So we'll be having some community partners that have booths there that, are demonstrating sort of the impact that we're seeing across the state. And I think it's going to be really fun.
Great. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very happy. I'm sure I'm going to be attending. I'm sure all three of us will be attending that event. It's going to be a
I
big
hope
event.
so. I hope so.
Unfortunately, as you know, the NECAN convention this year was postponed.
I know.
because of venue issues. The XL Center was behind on their construction and decided to take away half of our space. So there wasn't any way to run it. So this actually happening in September is a good way for the cannabis community to get together. Do you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
lieu of that, and especially being at the amphitheater, I would recommend anybody who's in the cannabis industry who, maybe was planning on going to NECANN would come to this event, contact you, maybe get a table there.
Mhm.
And because right now it'll be a great place to get together and network with the rest of the industry.
Yeah,
So,
it will really be the last big Connecticut focused cannabis event for the year, right?
right.
So I think that would be fantastic. I was really sad to see that about NECANN because sort of last minute, to kind of change things up.
Yeah,
But
it was you and me both. Tell me. Hurt me in more
I'm
ways
sure,
than
I'm
one.
sure, I'm sure. But yes, we're really excited about this, and we're really looking forward to seeing, some of the newer businesses too, the people that are just, they're able to start to get some things together and that want to build relationships and get their name out there. So, plus we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff this year.
Oh, well, tell us about it. What are you going to be doing?
I mean, let's see, where do we start? So this is significant. I do want to share this. So for licensees that are attending, so these are, are specific to cannabis licensees. We are starting off at 2:00. Andrea Comer, who's the chair of the Social Equity Council, will be there,
Mhm.
but they will have a new executive director for the Social Equity Council by then, and that person will be joining as well.
Oh, the new
So
social equity. Okay.
yeah, so that will be great to be able to do an introduction, share about what's going on. I think that's been just you can't see this, but my dog's sitting behind me on the couch and he's shoving me while I'm talking.
It's hungry, wants a treat.
Yeah, I know, right? So it'll be great for people to get to meet the new director, find out a little bit about the continuity, any of the changes that may be happening. And I think that's really important to the licensees. So we'll be doing that. But the fun part is after that, for the licensees, 1970 something is a Black-owned bourbon company from Connecticut. They will be doing a special tasting for the licensees. After that, we are, I have to look at that. Shame on me. We're also having for a Black-owned microbrewery beer tasting at the events. We're going to have some glass blowing. We'll have the Emerald Lounge there, which
Oh,
is always kind of
nice. It's fun.
go
Yeah.
through. Yeah, so we're doing having some caricature artists, which will be cool, and some different banners. And so this venue just lends itself to a lot of fun and creativity. We'll have some bands and things like that. Again, along with the booth, the panels, I think we're waiting on some confirmation from some of our federal government representatives that will come and kind of share what the landscape is on the federal level as well. So. And then, of course, just celebrating, we'll be celebrating Affinity Grow as Cultivator of the Year and Butters Dispensary of the Year. And that'll be a lot
Yeah,
of
I've
fun
noticed
too.
the graphics going out. You're announcing the winners a little bit ahead
Yeah,
of time.
a little
So
bit
that's
ahead of
good.
time. Yeah, try to build some. So we'll have honoring also Kennard Ray from Fine Fettle for his collaboration this year. He did a lot with Pardon's Day, CT Pardon's Day, and helping get
Oh,
that going. And then he did a tremendous job during the legislative session of working with some of the licensees and doing some collaboration there to say, to get through the muck, right? Because everybody has an opinion. And when we go to like general law, our state reps and our state senators, it can get very overwhelming to understand who's saying what. And Kennard was a really great partner in saying, hey, you're hearing a lot of things, but as social equity applicants, this is our concern. And so we really wanted to shine a light on what he did this year as well. Also, Rod Marriott from the DCP, he handled a lot of emails and a lot of clarification and has been a great partner. So we're celebrating him. Senator Maroney for being the legislator of the year. Representative Marcus Brown, for his work he's doing in the communities. He's doing a lot with, he started a Pride Center in Bridgeport, which was amazing, and has also taken a strong lead in saying, where does the money that is going back to the communities, where should that be landing? So that'll be awesome to celebrate him there as well. And then Mayor Danielle Wong from Bloomfield is our municipal leader of the year. So we have Fine Fettle going up there, and Ayer. They're both doing cultivation there, and she's been a really great support in saying, hey, having cannabis in our community does not mark the downfall, right? It marks opportunity. And so that's really, really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, when you have 50 liquor stores and one dispensary, and nobody says, what about all the liquor stores? They all focus on the one dispensary that's trying to go in town. I mean, this town I live in did the same thing. I mean, there's a liquor store on every corner here, but yet when the dispensary tries to come in, it's like, oh, no, 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 no. Okay, then let your smoke shops keep selling it out the back door. And you don't get the revenue, fine, and I think that's the stigma we got to break down. And when you have events like these at a high profile place, maybe we can get some of these people to come out and really hear the truth about cannabis.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a cadence to change. I mean, and I have a lot of compassion for people being resistant to it, just because it was my own experience, right? When I first started working with the chamber, I was like, well, I don't know, and again, as like I grew and learned, and you're meeting people that are saying, like, I came off heroin and methadone because I can use cannabis, or I'm not drinking as much. And we know that, like having a background in nutrition, like we know that alcohol is very different. And so there's a lot of different, but there's a cadence to change and acceptance. And I think it's okay for people to be concerned, right? We want people to be thinking and discerning. But yeah, some exposure over time and learning at these events and seeing that everything's not the worst case scenario that they believed.
Well,
Will
right.
help.
They
Will
think
help.
they're going to walk into a place with a bunch of hippies, and stoners just sitting around smoking weed and listening to music and playing video games and just like, hey, man, we're in the business. Obviously that's not how it is.
Right. I mean, if you go to some of these, like, I can think about, like, I did, gosh, in like 15 minutes, I could drive to, Sweet Spot in West Hartford, Butter, the Higher Collective store over at Parkville Market, like up in Hartford. These are beautiful stores with people with like better customer service than I'm getting anywhere else I'm going these days, right? And people that really care about the plant, and, they want to take care of their customers. And so, yeah, it's just, I think, over time, but these events kind of give a glimpse of what people have going on there. So
Yeah, right. Exactly. I think it's important for the public to come to these events and see what the cannabis industry, when I say public, I mean people like the mayors of cities. And,
yeah,
these people, I think it's important for them to get educated. And when there's an event, right? I mean, you're talking right in Bridgeport, very easy access. I think it's important that these people maybe should be invited even, because
yeah.
to see that this is legit industry. I've been to your events. There are people in suits and ties there, legitimate lawyers, accountants, and you have a
Yeah.
great membership. A lot of Aaron Doolittle, I mean, not Aaron Doolittle, Aaron Gorman, the ombudsman.
Mhm.
You have a great wealth of experience within your membership as well, besides your board of directors. Well, I mean, you got lawyer, accountant, right? You've got a
Yeah.
social equity person, so your board is pretty well rounded. But your members as well. You have members
Yeah.
in all different aspects of the cannabis industry, correct? Delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So
we represent every license type. We have some well-known firms too. So Dan is from McDermott, Reynolds and Glissman, but we also have Shipman, we have Pullman Comley, um, Dana Wiggins, we have Kermode, like they're all these, because they know, the importance of having the structure. We have accounting groups, we have Fluence, lighting, as well as, but the bulk of our membership are the licensees. And again, it's from delivery, transport, all the way through the vertically integrated cultivators as well, micro cultivators too.
Right, right. And so, yeah, you're a little bit different than the normal, I mean, the regular Chamber of Commerce that is basically for every city. However, I do believe it's important for the local businesses to join their regular Chamber of Commerce in whatever city they're in, because by
As
having a
you're allowed.
cannabis, right? As
Yeah.
well as you, yes, but I
Yeah.
mean, in conjunction with, or at least attend their meetings, because
Yeah.
it's important
Oh,
for the
sorry.
businesses to get involved with the local community as well, you know?
Yes. Absolutely. So, and actually, to the first question you asked me, how do we get started? Also, a lot of these, sorry, the dog again. A lot of these local chamber of commerces really weren't letting the cannabis businesses join in the beginning. And so, to your point, definitely they should join. And if they can't join, attending the meetings and building those relationships, because the relationships are always going to matter, right? In driving any sort of business, building those relationships and putting a face behind a name like that, that's so important to show that you do want to show up and be part of the community.
Right. You want to have good relationships with your neighbors and your fellow businesses that are maybe sharing the space with you and things like that. So yeah, I think it's important, and I think it is a huge step towards, like we say, relieving the
You
stigma.
Joe, I don't have the chamber's been absolutely great in allowing that access as well. At the meetings, you see members, non-members. It's been pivotal for myself to be able to join some of these meetings, and I look forward to becoming a member of the chamber. And I think that all licensees should become a member of the chamber at some point as they get up and running. And it really does create a space for licensees to speak to each other, licensees to speak with other individuals. They hold great networking events. You and I have been to a couple of these networking events. It's not an exclusive space. It's not an exclusionary space. It's a very welcoming space. And we do thank you, Jennifer, for extending that all the time to us. And it is a place that, as we keep talking about, I want to highlight this event again. And just a little thinking out of the box. If you are a brand, exactly like we were talking about earlier, you want to enter this space, maybe think out the box a little bit. Make sure that you're completely papered up, ready to offer a license or a franchise deal to a manufacturer. Get a table at one of these events. You're not selling wares or anything. But imagine being in a room with all the producers and being able to hand each one of them a proposal. That's what
Right.
this opens up for an individual. Imagine being like, okay, cool. There's X amount of manufacturers in the state. Prepare a package, a folder for each one of them, and literally go up to each one of those decision makers and hand them this package that says, I am storefront ready. Here's the information. Here's everything in place. Here's a couple copies of my labels. Let's take that next step together. Coming from, the very ready. You're not selling a product, or you're not doing anything of that nature. But imagine being in the room where you're able to literally hand over a prospectus right to that next manufacturer and show that your brand has worth. You have
Right.
substance between your name. And now that's why manufacturers would be looking to partner with individuals. Put together that 30-second to 1 minute pitch that as you grab somebody in these events. And we see this happening all the time on convention floors in Colorado and Massachusetts and New York. And now it's time for it to happen here in New York. You know what I mean? So if you
Connecticut,
don't
yeah.
have a license, and you want to become a player in the game, let's get out of the stands and get into the arena.
Yeah. And Jennifer, you said you had a special rate for people in the community. So I mean, you're making it easy.
Doing our best, and they're all on the website too.
Oh
So
yeah,
if you
let's
go
check that
to
website. I have it open
yeah,
here.
so
So
if you go
we
to
have,
cannabis.org,
yep, I'm on it. You got
and you click
Devon
on
Ward.
events.
He is right. Devon Ward is a member of the chamber, and now he was very critical in the fight for legalization. I worked very closely with him. So yeah, so you've got Affinity, both the grow and the dispensary. You got Rodeo. You've got the White Oak Bridge, Pullman and Colby. You got a lab analytics lab, Acreage, Norwich Public. So you have Green Cab Delivery, Markham, Fine Fettle is there. Shangri-La, that's a friend. She was on the show recently. Vicente Law Partners will be there. Connecticut Cannabis Company, good friend of the show, Brian Ascenter's company. So there will be a lot of people that we know here. And we'd love to see more people come in, right? Butter, I mean, you know, a lot of the big companies will be here. So if you do have something that you want to show, I think it's a great opportunity. Will you be allowing sampling?
So we cannot do sampling just because of the way the law is. We can't, because it's a ticketed event. People can't, sample. So, obviously, sometimes people have their gummies so that you can try them and they're just non-infused and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, like what they do at a regular convention. You have a
so like at
non-infused.
a regular convention, we definitely can do that. I just like to always clarify that in case my
Non-infused
favorite
version, make
regulators
up a
are listening.
few, right. But just to show your product and the taste of it,
So that will be available. I know Affinity is looking to do some specials at their big dispensary in Bridgeport that day too.
which is very close, right?
Yeah, very close. So we encourage people to stop by there that day. But yeah, so and to Lou, to your point, I actually was just speaking with somebody today they don't have a license, right? But they have a great product and a brand, and they are working with a manufacturer to produce their things. And they will be at the event too. So you're absolutely right. Being prepared with who you are and what you'd like to sell, and to be able to connect with. And there's so many manufacturers now, because the food and bev guys can now be manufacturers, the packagers can now be manufacturers, and they'll be looking for things to differentiate.
Right. And I guess this legislative session particularly saw quite a bit of changes in the laws and regulations that members need to navigate through. And I'm sure that is something that the people within the chamber can help with, because it can be confusing. I got to a point during the session where I couldn't keep up with it anymore. And I'm still confused at where they actually ended up.
Well, yeah, there were a lot of things that nobody asked for that just showed up. There was a lot of
the liquor industry all of a sudden came out of the closet.
No, I didn't see that happening. Yeah. So this session was really interesting. So DCP intentionally went in with non-controversial things. We had a few different things that we, as a chamber, felt were important. And then all of a sudden there were like 22 issues that we were now addressing that were like coming up in these bills, and then things were popping up in bonds bills. And so I look at it, so I'm doing an analogy. It was almost like if you buy a new house,
I know what you're saying.
The session was like doing the HVAC and redoing the electric. It was like not the fun stuff. And what we're hoping is next session is more about like, what colors are we putting on the walls and how do we make it more fun? But this was a lot of infrastructure work, right? It was about letting the municipalities and the Attorney General be able to go to the smoke shops and say, hey, you can't do this. And, you can't sell cannabis. And how do we create some structure around that, and who can sell beverages and what can be in the beverages, and this moderate,
how much percentages and this and that,
and tax changes, and like randomly, like it was going to be 50 cents a can, and then all of a sudden the taxes were $1 a can, and like did anybody, I don't think anyone talked about it.
No, they just did it.
They just did it, and there's a reason, right? There's always a reason why people do things.
Yeah, of course, we know the reason.
But
it's green, but it's not cannabis.
So, there was a lot of infrastructure and all sorts of really I think the harder we focus on teasing out like what's hemp and what's cannabis, it seemed like the muckier it got,
Yeah.
right? It never got clearer. It
No,
just got,
no, that was, I
just
think
more.
that was their purpose of it, you know, to kind of divide the community a little. I hate to say that, but a lot of it was unnecessary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it just, yeah. And in a perfect world, we'd start over again and we go, okay, like, how do we really do this, knowing what we know then and what we know now? So, but this session, I think we're going to really focus much more on asking, and we were told, you know, we kind of knew like we weren't going to make a lot of progress with how things looked in terms of labeling and branding and that kind of thing this last session, but we're hoping for this session, you know, looking at potency limits, I think will be important for this session. Looking at, you know, like ownership timelines, advertising,
Yeah,
lab testing,
advertising
things like
fee.
that. Because we're just not, the consumer base needs to continue to develop. And, um, you know, we see the medical sales are tanking, right? The medical
Right, they're
sales
taking a
really
tank.
going, and then in the recreational there. And so it's just, that's not what this was designed for, right?
No.
Like that's not what this was designed for. And so, I mean, Aaron's a great partner in trying to figure out like, what is it the medical patients need? Why is this different for them? And so we want to have a stronger market, more options, allowed to market to the consumers in a way that's meaningful to them. And to make these businesses successful, because there is a margin, there is a profit margin that they need to pay their employees and be
Right.
successful and still stand. And that's just how things work. It's not, they're not being greedy, right? That's not the, you know,
No.
we need to be able to sell to more people
Yeah,
and
and I
we're,
think the proof is in the pudding of Connecticut's recreational sales. We're down and we're
yep,
lower than any of the other states surrounding us.
yeah.
You know, and so I think maybe this will open their eyes a little bit
Mhm.
and you know, maybe loosen things up a little and open up the market a little more because it's true. You know, we could be a thriving cannabis market because of our location being in the middle of New England and the middle of the tri-state area. We
Mhm.
could be a thriving cannabis location if there was an attraction to bring them here, you know, but all the news that comes out of Connecticut is how bad it is. Oh, and that's not the chamber's fault. That's not my fault. That
Yeah.
really comes down to the legislator really not knowing how the market was going to develop. And I think now they're seeing it and maybe they'll make the changes they need to make.
Yeah, I mean, you can't predict it with any
Well,
specific
I will
accuracy.
100%. I apologize for being stopped. If you put a
I
fee
want to
of
hear your
I
three
was
part.
waiting
million
for this. I
dollars,
was waiting for this step
if
in,
you put
Loon.
a fee of $3 million, how in the heck can you effectively be profitable? You know what I
Right,
mean?
because you're
Just
3 million in the
opening this,
hole to
you're already
start.
3 million in the hole to start. You know what I mean? Building out a growth facility, you're like, and I'm telling you firsthand, it is hard. Before you can even open your doors, you're $12 million in debt. You know what I mean? The fee structure it was tough, and that was an arbitrary number that was put up by the state, and now we're watching it completely stalled. You know what I mean? There's $22 million of fee money that was supposed to go back to the community that's just being held up. There's no state grants that went out to the communities. You know, in Jersey, $150,000, in Maryland, $500,000 grant. We're looking at grants that went out to social equity applicants throughout the nation through their states. You know, a quote unquote low interest, which is not necessarily relatively low. It's a little lower than what the standard prime is right now. And then a timeline. I put my application in for a loan 6 months ago. You know what I mean? So these things are, and it's personally guaranteed. I already had to prove that I don't have money to be a social equity applicant. And then on top of that, now I have to prove that I can pay back this $500,000 loan if I do happen to actually get through the queue. It's really tough, you know? It's not necessarily about making it, you want to make it competitive, you want to be able to do things, but we see Massachusetts, you know, the prices are low, but they also have an issue of dispensaries not paying the growers. You know, that's a huge part of their news right now, is that
Right.
dispensaries are crying broke, that they can't pay back their growers, and because their market was so open, they're just hop, skipping, and jumping from different growers. You know, they have 100 and something micro growers or growers that we would consider micro growers, and they're just racking up a $500,000 bill with one and going to the next one, and there's no repercussions on it. You know, in New York, we're seeing similar things. And New York is just licensing out the wazoo with very little oversight, and they have a huge black market issue as well. I think that Connecticut could have found a middle ground for it, and I think that there was definitely enough information out there, just wasn't listened to just everybody. And you know, I do have a license. You know, it's not like I'm speaking from, you know, I have dispensary licenses and I have a cultivation license. So I've gone through this process 3 times, for 3 times for approval, 6 times to be denied. You know what I mean? So I've seen both sides of it, the costs that are associated, leaving it up to the municipalities, the cost of construction. You know, it's hard to bring those numbers down when the price is there. You know, we want to say, oh, people go to Massachusetts. Massachusetts is half outdoor grown. You know what I mean? It's not completely advertised, but that's an outdoor flower that you're buying at the dispensary for cost effective. A lot of it's being done right. The testing is different. If you go to New York, all of the flower in their program is outdoor grown, you know, and if you're buying from the black market, you really have no idea what you're getting. You know, right now, the biggest trend is that sprayed turf, which is absolutely horrible, but the marketing is great. You know what I mean? They have these great bags, and it's you know, tons of pictures and all the other things that make for good marketing. And you know, the idea of free market with all the restrictions that are in place is not there. You know, so
True.
Connecticut's got a lot of its own issues, and we're not going to sit here and say it's an amazing program, but as we say all the time, I'd rather be in the game than on the sidelines, you know?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and it's tough, you know, the price of entry to be in the game is ridiculously high. And a lot of it starts with fees. You know, those fees would be way more justifiable if there was some type of grant that went back to the social equity applicant, or if the money wasn't being held up for the communities that they go into. You know,
Sounds
we
like
do
that's
livable wages. You know, that's another thing. Are in Massachusetts and New York, you know, they don't have the same minimum wage Connecticut does. Connecticut has a very high minimum wage, and dispensaries
true.
are not paying minimum wage. We do pay our employees a relatively nice wage. You know, you go into the dispensary, all of the employees make over $20 an hour usually across the
Yeah.
board. The pharmacists make entry-level pharmacist, full benefits. And so Connecticut has made it so that the employees in these spaces are well paid. A lot of them are union members paying union dues, which isn't happening in a lot of other surrounding states. So there's an advantage to being an employee or a manager or something in this market versus in other markets. You know, in Massachusetts, those employees are making minimum wage, $15 to $20 an hour, where it's not very competitive. You know, we have pharmacists, multiple pharmacists in our medical dispensaries, because remember, a dispensary has to be able to sell medical state, and those jobs start at $125,000 to $150,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, management. So you know that, like we were saying, just to pay those employees is a big thing. You know, so that's why, you know, we do have higher restrictions, higher price points. It's an interesting market when you really get to look at it, and we're doing what we can. You know, I think that there's a lot of red tape and a lot of misunderstanding.
I think there's a lot, and I think Lou, and you and I have talked about this too. Like we have to let it grow, though, right? Like we have to let the market develop. And that's one of the challenges too with some of the legislative pieces, is we were making all these changes midway. Like people hadn't, you know, been able to stand up their cultivation. Yeah, like right now we have 3 micro cultivators that are live. Right. So we have Affinity that's doing great. Bricks which was in New Britain. They just harvested about a month ago. I think Earl Baker in Manchester, they're harvesting this week. But the only full cultivator is all outdoor, right? And everybody else we'll see them start to around the end of this year. The full scale cultivators come online and into early next year, but it has taken time. It is incredibly expensive, and the process has not been smooth or easy, right? So I always joke that 50% of the time I spend being a social worker for our licensees because it is hard. Like they call and we talk about like the challenges of just business in Connecticut, right?
Oh, I know
All right,
that.
we
I'm
have
one of them.
to we have to wrap it up. So real quick, Jennifer, tell us how we can become a member of the chamber, how we can get a hold of you, all your social media, and
Sure.
remind people of the date of the event real quick.
Awesome. All right. So Together We Grow is our big event. It's September 12th. It's going to be in the afternoon from 2 to 8 at the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater in Bridgeport. More information for that can be found at our website. So that's ctcannabischamber.org. And if you want information about becoming a member, just email me at jennifer@ctcannabischamber.org or give me a call at 860-888-2029.
All right. And that's if you want to become a member, if you want to get involved in the event, get a booth, whatever you want to do. But I encourage
If you
people.
just have a question, reach out.
All right. I encourage people to attend this event. I think it's going to be great. Great way for the industry to get together. I'm getting the wrap up sign. Lou, any last words?
We just want to remind everybody to stay happy, healthy, and high. All right, my friends. Thank you so much, Jennifer. You really have been.
There's the music. Thank you, everybody. Follow us at Greenhaven Media. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Greenhaven Media. We will see you soon. You can follow me at Joe the Weed Guy. I love you all. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Jennifer Fell from the Connecticut Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. And we'll see you all next week. Bye, Jen.
Bye.